This is the Coach's Wife Life podcast. I'm Kristen Eargle, your host, a former TV sports reporter and fellow college football coach's wife. I'll go one-on-one with the strong women who are the backbone of college athletics and athletics of all levels. And now, Coach's Wife Life.
This podcast is brought to you by Ruler of Hope. Ruler of Hope is a nonprofit that supports medically fragile children. If you'd like to make a tax-deductible donation, you can use Venmo at Ruler-Hope or online at rulerofhope.org.
Hey there, I'm Kristen Eargle, and we have an exciting podcast ahead. But first, I want to talk about something we all know way too much about: moving. Just the thought of that can bring an unsettling emotion. Well, I found a team that can take that load off your plate. It's D1 Relocation. This group can do it all. They can organize your move, coordinate with a moving company, and a trusted real estate agent. They can actually vet key household partners such as schools, insurance agents, physicians in the area. They can even help set up your Wi-Fi and water. It's incredible. So I've come to know this team, which is actually founded by a coach's wife. I think you should check it out, whether you're looking to move now or in the future. It's d1relocation.com. Now on to our awesome podcast. I am so excited to have my next guest on the podcast, Kettiany Robertson from South Carolina football. Your husband, Travian, is the defensive line coach. Thanks for being a part of us.
Yay! So excited.
I know this is going to be so much fun. Let's get right to it. What do you like on game day in 3 words?
I am busy. I am nervous.
Yes.
And I am excited.
There you go. All right. What's Coach like? Is he like a fireball passion, or is he cool and calm?
He's fired up. He's somewhat cool and calm too. Like in the morning, he'll be cool and calm, and then he's worried. And I put worried in quotes because he's always worried about us getting to the game safely. Or getting to the stadium safely. So he's always like, let me know when you get here. Because when we were in Georgia State, there was an incident where a wife got into a car accident on the way to the game. And So ever since then, he's like, just let me know that you got here.
Yeah. Watching out.
Quotes.
For sure. Okay. So you guys have, you're back home at South Carolina. He played defensive line. You were a track star, SEC champion, pentathlete. I can't wait to hear all about this.
Yeah.
But you guys have had stops, and I want to hear all about where you met and all the fun things. But you have been at South Carolina. He played in the NFL a little bit, kind of going out of order here. You were at Tulane, right?
Yes.
Georgia State.
Yes.
I mean, what do you think it is about your husband that has allowed him to have so much success and to work at South Carolina and to get the attention and to do have so much impact on his players? What's it about him?
I think it's his honesty. He doesn't tell the players what they need to know. I mean, what they want to know. He tells them what they need to know, and whether it's good, bad, or in between. He's really real and honest with them about their progression, about where they are, about who he is. So I think he's very relatable. And so he's very honest with them as well. And so everywhere we've been, the players literally have loved that about him and said that's his best trait, really.
Okay, let's talk about you. SEC champion. I mean, what an athlete. Tell me all the events you did.
So I was a heptathlete / pentathlete. So in track, there's indoor season and outdoor season. So in the indoor season, the event is the pentathlete. Or is a pentathlon. And so it includes the hurdles, the high jump, the long jump, the shot put, and the 800 indoors. Outdoors,
incredible.
You add the javelin and the 200. And so it was fun.
Yeah.
The training.
Rewarding. The training is brutal, I would imagine.
Brutal, but it was really fun. I love running track. My dad ran track. And so I grew up running track.
Incredible. And grew up in South Carolina, right?
Well, I grew up, I came to college here. I'm from Jamaica originally, and moved to Florida. And then I got a scholarship to run track at the University of South Carolina.
Incredible. Okay, so how did y'all exactly meet? I know he would play defensive line there.
He did. So some of his former teammates would take credit for how we met. But um when I first saw him, honestly thought he was a basketball player. And so I would see him on the way, like I'm at my class, and I would see this guy walk by, and I'm like, oh, he's cute. And so I would, see him every now and then. And I had some of his football uh players in my class, and I didn't know who he was, obviously. And so, I was telling them about him or whatever, and they were like, oh, this is so and so. And I was like, oh, okay. So this is my, pickup line that on good old reliable Facebook, that I sent him a message on Facebook.
You sent him a message on Facebook. This is too good.
I said, oh, you're so cute, but you look mean. That was my line, okay? And it's not like mean in a way, it's just his face when he just walks. Somebody just walking, they're just walking.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that was my line. And that was it. That
worked.
It worked.
All right, everyone, take notice. You're cute, but you're
right. You're
okay,
cute.
It worked.
Hey, what's up?
All right, it worked. It was in there. Okay, so then how long did y'all date, and then married and all that greatness?
So we have been married for 11 years now. And we've been dating for about 16 years now. So we've been together for a long time. Yeah.
And so he played in the NFL, and he gets into coaching and all that stuff. And I mean, there's a lot to unpack there. Yeah. And now you have kids. Tell us about your kids.
Yeah. We have 3 boys, 13, 8, and 7. Amazing kids, adorable. They're full of energy, but
yeah, I bet.
They're awesome. But yeah.
Do they play sports?
Yes, they do. All of them are in football, obviously. We try not to push them towards football, but naturally, I think it's just a natural thing for your kids to want to follow in you. But our teenager does middle school football, and our younger 2 does flag football right now. So yeah, and they all do basketball and track. So we keep them very active.
Yeah, obviously, when you play defensive line, you're fast. But mom here, you got this, maybe more of the speed in the family.
Mom got some speed too.
Yeah.
He always say he's faster than me. But my husband, he did run track in high school, and we always talk about it. He's like, if I race you, I will beat you. I said, I don't think so. I don't think so.
No, we need to see this. You need to do something for the podcast for us.
Right.
Put it on social. We want to see all this. That would be tons of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so not every day is this, happy, perfect day. There are ups and downs in this profession, right?
Sure.
I mean, especially this season, of course, as we're recording, I kind of record these in advance, can be a tough season for. So talk to me about maybe some of the toughest adversity you guys have faced, and what did you rely on to get through that?
I think the toughest that we've had is when he initially started in this coaching world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he was a graduate assistant at Georgia State in 2017. And funny story about that, the head coach at the time is now the tight ends coach here at South Carolina.
Wow.
And his name is Sean Elliott. And he was the offensive line coach at South Carolina when my husband was playing D-line. So, the family there. And so the connection. But when he was a graduate assistant at Georgia State, the next year, 2018, he received a D-line coach job at Albany State in Albany, Georgia. And so we're in Georgia, living in Swanee, and Albany State's about 3.5 hours away. And so I think because that was the first time we've been apart, and the move, and in the coaching world, and not knowing what to expect, and all of those things, it was really tough for us. And I think the biggest way, or the best way that we got over it, was communicating our needs. And so he would come home every weekend, and when he's not, obviously when the season's not in, he would come home as often as he could, and we would spend as much time together. I think that's when we knew that time was really important, because coaching takes so much time. You have to fit yourself in, when you can, and the kids, and because it's a very demanding career path. And so we got over that with communicating what we needed and how we felt. And so ever since then, we've been, it's always ups and downs everywhere, every
Mhm.
time, but we've gotten a lot better with the demand of the job, right? So
Initially going from student athlete yourself, knowing how
Yeah.
rigorous that is,
yeah.
but then were you aware how much the coaches were away from their families? Because most of the time when I'm interviewing wives or student athletes, like I didn't even know they were gone that much.
Didn't even know. Didn't even. And so he was a player. And so when we were dating, he was a player. And I'm like, oh, so this is
Yeah.
nothing. You didn't
Yeah.
see the other side of it, right? The coaching side. And so you're like, oh, he's, we go to class. And now you're like on this side of it. And you're like, oh, that's a lot of time. Like,
Yeah.
their schedule is really boom, boom, meetings, this, that, and all of that. And so I didn't know the timing. I didn't know the length of when he would be from home and recruiting and on the road. And so it was an adjustment. Definitely. So
And then the pressure for coaches is,
you have to win.
It's there.
Yeah.
You have to win.
Yeah.
How do you stay grounded and steady in all this?
I think we've always been grounded people. We've always been just, to ourselves, not to ourselves, but just like real calm, not let the highs get too high, the lows get too low kind of thing. So when he was in the NFL, it was the same thing. We were always grounded. It was just, you're now an NFL player. And so we've always been those down to earth kind of people, and we've never changed.
Do you have some coaches' wives, mentors in this business? People you call and be like, hey, how do you get through this? You got some friends out there that kind of keep you going during those times? You're like, hey, how's this going to pan out?
I don't, because he's just 8 years in right now. We've been to certain places, and here Emily is the best. I love her. So I could talk to her about, whatever. But over the years, I haven't really gravitated to anyone like that. I'd be like, let me get advice. I do have a best friend, Sutanya, that is awesome. Like she tells me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear in certain instances. But I think the best person that have given, not me necessarily, but my husband, the best advice with coaching is his defensive line coach when he was here at South Carolina. And he passed away last year. And so he never got to see my husband like coach at South Carolina. He's always been in his corner and like, you're going to do awesome. I know you are. But the best advice that he gave him was make sure you keep your wife in tune with what you're doing. He was like, this coaching thing, it takes on a life of its own. Make sure she knows what you're doing, just so she stays informed. And so I've never been like out of the loop with anything. He always lets me know if I'm out of the loop, he's out of the loop. So he always lets me know what's going on. So we're always communicating in regards to that. So nothing is a surprise for us.
I love that. That's what's key, I think, is the close knit of the spouse. Like we're all in highs, lows, just whatever that may be. And then just communicating throughout the day almost. And the same reason they don't have time, but just maybe carving out time. Do you guys have a date night or anything that you try to do? Or it's kind of, you're in the season of life where you've got kids, they're probably doing something every single night.
So we have, so every week I try to go up to the facility and have lunch. So it'd be like our day date, just because he, the beginning of the week is so long. And so sometimes he doesn't see the kids at night. And so sometimes when he comes home, I might be almost asleep. And so I tried to make a date on Tuesdays. I go up there and I have lunch with him. It might be Wednesdays some days. But we also have a tradition where we have the players over on Thursdays. And so we would, cook for them or cater or whatever, make dessert. So yeah, we try to stay connected in this crazy season. So
you cook on Thursday, like a lot of Thursdays, or
so every Thursday. Well, when we
every
win,
Thursday,
so it's victory week,
victory dinner.
So we
love this.
We'll cater because those boys are big boys. Those boys are big boys. So I can't feed all of them. So we'll cater sometimes, and I'll make the dessert. And so I make an Oreo cake that they love. So every time we win, I'll make that cake for them, and I make the coaches a banana pudding that they love too. So
you are incredible. Every single win. I mean, y'all had a lot of wins this year.
We had a lot of wins this year. We had 9. So listen.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fun.
that's a lot of. So, do you work or stay home or?
Right now, I'm staying at home. I and studying for my I actually have my real estate final exam on Monday. So when we were in Georgia, I got my real estate license, and then when we moved to Louisiana, I transferred my license over there. And so now we're here, and I'm trying to, taking the class and doing that. So yeah.
Yeah, I know that's. It seems like, is that a really good career in terms of being a coach's family, or can that be hard because a lot of things are on the weekends, or how do you make that work?
It's not as hard because in real estate you kind of sort of make your own schedule. So
Yeah.
you fit in, things when you can, showings and all those when you can. And so that's why I chose that career path after he got into coaching. So before he got into coaching, I was a forensic scientist. I was working at the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, worked there for like 8 years. And
What?
so, so when he got into coaching, I'm like, he said, both of us can't be in the building. And I said, you're right. And so he said, well, what else? We discussed
Yeah.
it because we knew coaching was going to be a lot.
Yeah.
And so for me to be in the building from 6 to, whatever time, and him to be in the building from all day, it would be really challenging for us as a family. And so I did that for 8 years. And then I told him, I said, I've always, always, always wanted to do real estate. I've loved
Yeah.
it so much and just never had the time. And he was like, well, now's the time. Now's the
Yeah.
time. You
Yeah.
can go full into it. And I did. And it's so much fun. So yeah.
Okay, we've got to go back to this other job. What did you do?
Yeah.
What did okay, what
So
did you
I
do there?
was,
That's crazy.
yeah, I studied here in South Carolina, I was a biology major. And
Okay.
so I got into forensics. I did serology, which is like the step before DNA testing. So you would test the evidence for blood, semen, or saliva, and then you would send it on for DNA testing. You would go to court and testify on what you did, which I did not like that much, but it was so much fun. I loved it. You get all kinds of cases, literally everything that you can think of. You get the incident reports, and then you test the evidence. So yeah, it was fun.
Oh my goodness, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
You learn a lot about people, don't you? You're like,
Yeah.
ooh. Wow, that's
Yeah, so it
interesting.
was
I can see
awesome.
now why you're like, hey, you know what? Let's
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
it a little happier,
Right. Because
maybe.
in forensics, there's always like, not say a loser, but there's always somebody that suffers. So
Yes.
it just think of all the cases, think of all the situations that can happen. There's always somebody that suffers. And in real estate, it's a little bit happier. The seller
Yeah.
gets to sell the
Yeah.
house that he wants, the buyer gets to get their dream home. Typically, it's
Mhm.
always, a happy
Right.
transaction. And so yeah, 8 years. I'm like, okay, it's time for the
Yeah.
happy.
It's time for that. Yeah, definitely. And
Yeah.
okay, so what do you use? What kind of process do you use? Obviously, I can tell you have an analytical brain, don't you? Like you have a very, yeah,
Yeah.
love
Very
it.
detailed.
Yes, detail oriented. Yeah,
Yeah.
over here, not so much. So I can tell, like, oh, she's detail oriented. So you probably have like a good process you use to make big career decisions. I
Yeah.
mean, if he's okay, is this, and sometimes they're clear cut. Like when you
Mhm.
get the call to go to South Carolina, it's home. It
I
says
mean,
SEC, you're going.
you're
Like,
going
listen,
home.
when you're walking through, yeah,
Yeah.
some of this, like, how do you evaluate good opportunities for your family?
I think for us, it has to make sense. It has to be obviously if it's a opportunity that would, elevate his level of coaching and all that. It will definitely be something that we talk about. It has to be something that it makes sense for the family. Is the move worth it? Is packing up our family worth it and going to this place? And so every time we've moved, it's been a great opportunity. It's made sense. And
Mhm.
so now we're here, which is we're home, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
awesome. So every time it's made sense. We always communicate and just make sure that it makes sense for our family.
yeah. And then I mean, what is it like coaching at your alma mater? And does
Oh,
it feel differently like than
does.
other schools you've been at? Like,
It
what is
does.
that like?
It feels I get like the first time I came back in the first game and we heard Sandstorm, and I'm like, and I'm on the sideline this time. I'm not in the stands, like,
Yes.
the student section. I'm like,
Right.
it's like, like it felt, it was the best feeling. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I thought I almost teared up. Like it was
Oh yeah.
just coming back home to
Yeah.
where you started, where you met,
Yes.
where you put ground. We got married here. Like
Mhm.
everything, is tied to South Carolina. And so it felt awesome to come back
Yeah.
home and for
It's
him
an
to do that.
incredible place. And the Beamers are incredible people. She's been on the podcast. Her
Love it.
daughter's done a Christmas podcast with our, and they're so supportive of our
Mhm.
podcast. And so
Love it.
precious people,
Yes.
love it. And you're working for some great ones.
Yes.
Okay. So what do you think you're doing? Home side that's really helping him have success on the field.
I think we communicate. He communicates with his players. He lets them know what he expects of them. And they already know how he is. So he tells them who he is up front when he gets a job. And he's like, this is what I expect. I'm going to coach you hard. I'm going to teach you the proper technique. I'm going to teach you how to make plays. And so he communicates that to them. We communicate at home about, just about everything. And so I think, like I said before, he's so real with them and so honest. And I think that's what has given him so much success and to get us to this point.
For you, being a student athlete and being around this, how does that kind of shape how you deal with your children in sports? And like, do you help train them? Obviously they're at your 13-year-old, right? He's 13. Is at the age where it's getting important.
Yeah.
It's time.
I said, you literally have 4 more years to make something because you have high school. And if you want to be, because he's always talk about he wants to be good and be a football, obviously. So I said, if you want to be that, then you literally have 4 more years that you need to lock in and make it happen. And so I do try.
Do you? I want to hear this.
It's so funny that you say that because I do train him. I do. Last year he wanted a gym, so at-home gym. So we bought him an at-home gym, and so it's so funny. I train them, and so we go out in the garage, we lift weights, we warm up, we run. I take them to the field, and we do workouts, plyometrics, sprinting, everything, and trying to get them to be built up to that because that's what they want. They're like, yeah, I want you to. So, and I'm coaching. I'm coach mom. I'm not mom.
Yeah.
I'm coach mom. So it's fun. Sometimes they don't like it, obviously, because I'm pushing, because I know they can, spit out more and all that. So it's it's fun.
Okay, can I bring my kids to you? This would be great.
That's what the neighbors say.
I bet.
It's so funny. They're like, you guys need to go over there and trade with them.
No doubt. Like if we live in the same city, I'd be like, can I clean your house? I'll clean your house. Just train the kids. Can you just get them to run? Like that is that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Okay. Are they progressing pretty well?
They are. Because our 13-year-old, he's getting a lot stronger. And so I told him, and I mean, once you get to high school, you get into that weightlifting system, you'll build. And so, yeah, they love it.
That's awesome. Okay. So how do you maintain balance? What's a day in the life for you?
So I'll get up at around 5:30ish, 5, and I'll work out. So I try to work out before they go to school so that I'm not wasting my entire day, right? And so I get up and I work out, then I wake them up at 6:30, get them ready because school starts at 7:40 for elementary here. And so get them up, make breakfast, get them out the door. The middle schooler, he takes the bus, so he gets, and I told him I got him an alarm clock. I said, you set your alarm, you wake yourself up, you miss the bus, that's on you. So, so he gets himself up.
Love it.
Yeah. So, and he takes the bus and go, and then I come back, and we have 2 French bulldogs. And so, I would, take them for a walk sometimes and play with them, do chores around the house, do errands, laundry, the whole spiel. And then I would get into my real estate class. And so, and then 1:30, I'm going to pick them up. So it's a time window.
It's a little tiny window. Like you don't know it until like when your husband off on a random day. I have to leave my house at 1:27 to go pick up the kids. He goes, it's already time. I was like, yes, this is how fast it goes. I'm working, coming back.
And then on Fridays, like sometimes he'll go in a little later on Friday. So we'll have a breakfast date. And so then he'll just go in after that. So it's that window is small.
It's small. I don't think anybody realizes how fast it is. I always joke, I was like, I'm going to get it for Mother's Day out. I'm like, who gets out of school at 2? Obviously, you get out of school.
Yes. So that window is tiny.
It's tight. You got to get everything done.
Yeah, you do. And prep and plan dinner during that time. So it's, and then practice and stuff after school. So yeah.
Your kids are basically living in a glass house. It's your both parents played there. You're in a town where they know the wins, the losses. Your kids are old enough, they're aware. How are you helping them deal with this as coaches' kids?
Because our oldest has my husband's name, and so people know he's a junior. And so people know who dad is, right, at school. And so we're like, just try not to mention him. So they don't know, but they find out anyway. And so I think the oldest one, he knows the scope of it. The two youngest, they're just like, we're going to I think they kind of have a sense, but it's like not really to the extent that, so many people want to come to the facility or even view the facility, and you can go there every day if you want to, so they don't get the idea of that. And so we've told them, dad, coaches football and people know him. And he's like, oh, people know my dad. Like it's like a surprise to them. So it's cute. And so we're like, just keep it that way,
Yeah, for sure. Are they on social media and stuff like that?
No. Not yet.
Not yet.
I don't know. Social media
is tough.
Especially at 13. I think our 13-year-old now, he's like, I'm getting there. Can I have one? And I'm like, not yet.
Oh, it opens up such a can of worms. You're like,
wait a little bit longer.
I know it. I know. It's tough to walk through this. The things that we have to deal with now that weren't when we were growing up.
We didn't have to deal with that, So
I know. We didn't have cell phones until I was like,
it was so much fun.
I miss that. I would go back right now. Take it away. Call me on my home phone.
Parents didn't know where we were. Just come on home before the street lights. Like you didn't even know where we were all day.
I know.
Gone all day to our friend's house. And you just, but
didn't even know.
Yeah.
I was just telling my daughter the other day. I went to the store from my mom. I'm turning 16.
Yeah.
There's no cell phone. I just went to the store.
Just walked and came back. Yeah.
Came back.
Yeah.
I don't even know how long, 10 to 15 minutes. I actually got into a car accident. But they were like, there wasn't a cell phone. They called her. The police called her. That was all right.
That was good.
It worked out.
Great. So
it's amazing. My daughter goes, well, what do you mean you didn't call her during the store? She couldn't track you on your GPS?
No. We were just out there. Yeah. Having a good time.
Having a good time. So for you to block out negativity on social media and stuff like that, is it just stuff like you hide them? How do you enjoy some of this? Like you had a good season this year, but not every season's perfect.
Yeah.
Of course you had a good season at Tulane too, but
we did. Last year, much.
You're like, I don't remember when it was that we had that.
So last year here, we didn't have the best season. So we were 5-7 last year. And so it was a lot of negativity from fans. I mean, obviously, they want us to win.
Sure.
So, it was a lot of
that.
It comes with the territory, right? Yeah. And so you just try to block it out. I just don't look at it. We know what we have in-house. And so you just focus on that. And so from last year, we built on that. And now we had a way, way better season, turned it around. We have a lot of players that got awards, freshman of the year, defensive player of the year. So it's like we have a lot of players that, improved as we improved this year. So it was, you just block it out because if you don't, then it'll consume you. And so I'm not into that.
Yeah, no doubt. So distraction from the goal. Because
Yep.
if you listen to all that, it becomes part of your thought life.
Mhm.
And
And
then
it consumes you, so you just
it
have to.
does. It drives your decisions and you
Yeah,
start
it
making
does.
decisions out of panic instead
Right,
of peace.
right, right,
That
for sure.
impacts just anybody. Like,
And that's it, in real
yeah,
life,
it
in
does.
just everyday life, yeah,
It
so,
does. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. What would you say is some of the most rewarding aspects to you about being a coach's wife?
Relationships, the friendships that you make, the women, the coaches and families that you meet, and the long life, friendships that you will have. So I've met some awesome people. Emily, like I said, Emily is just she's so awesome. I love her. So I've met so many great wives, and that you obviously keep in touch with. I keep in touch with people from Albany State, Georgia State, and still in Tulane. So it's like you keep in touch with people that you've met, and they're just awesome. They understand
Yeah.
the career, and so you want to keep yourself around people that knows what you're going through, understand what it's like, and so it helps you, just navigate everyday life.
Love it. Okay. You ready? Rapid fire.
Oh goodness.
Yes. Okay. Who's the most famous person in your phone?
Ugh, yikes. I have worked for she was governor here, Governor Nikki Haley. I don't know if you've heard of her. But I
Yes.
did work for her when she was governor here. So I would say her, maybe.
Wow. You have the governor's cell phone number.
Yeah, she's cool.
That's amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
What's one item on your bucket list that you have checked off and one yet to go?
A career change. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like I said, I've done forensics for so long, and then I wanted to do real estate. And so that was on my list. And I've done that. One that I want to do that I haven't done yet is visit Egypt. I've always wanted to travel to Egypt. So I'm excited to check that off sometime.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Who are the last 3 people you have texted?
My husband, of course, texted him this morning, and then my best friend Sue, and then my other friend Kia.
There you go. Okay. Funniest account you follow on Instagram?
Oh goodness, I think it's a pet account.
Do you
Or
watch
it's
like dogs?
Walter. Did you see the Walter? The
No.
French
What is this?
French bulldogs. So the account is like Walter, and it's about this French bulldog that he just howls. And our French bulldog male howls like Walter, and I'm like, I need to
Really?
make a champ page because Walter
Yes. Yes.
is very popular, and he does the same thing that you do.
Look, there it is.
That's it.
Yes, you
We're gonna
can.
get
You can have it.
Instagram famous.
He needs Instagram fame. We will follow it. Coach's Wi-Fi podcast will follow.
So funny.
Okay. What about your life impresses your kids the most?
That I won, or I ran for Jamaica, because I'm from Jamaica. So I ran in the Junior Olympics that was in Beijing before the real Olympics was in Beijing. So I actually ran on the Jamaican team in 2007 in Beijing.
And you didn't tell me this until the end of the podcast.
So the end of the podcast.
I'm not even supposed to do a follow-up.
Well, it's surprises, honey. No.
Oh, this is incredible. In Beijing.
Yeah. It was so
Wow.
much fun. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did you place well?
I did. I ran on the 4x4, and I think we got 3rd overall. But when I ran in the hurdles, I fell. So not the best experience with that, but I did get a medal. So
Have you taken your kids to Jamaica?
not yet. I do. My husband has been dying to go. So we're definitely planning a trip in the future. Yes.
Nice. Okay. What would be your walk-up song?
Oh goodness. I'm a Cardi B fan.
That's awesome.
I said Cardi B songs.
There you go. Works for the workout.
Right. That's
Mama workout.
Workout songs.
I know. I'm telling you. I'm finding a way to get my kids up to you. Thank you so much. This has been a blast.
Oh, I've had fun. It was awesome. Thank you.
This podcast is brought to you by Ruler of Hope. Ruler of Hope is a nonprofit that supports medically fragile children. If you'd like to make a tax-deductible donation, you can use Venmo at Ruler-Hope or online at rulerofhope.org.
For a replay of this episode or previous episodes, visit coacheswifelife.org and follow us on social media at Coaches Wife Life.